Wait a minute.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm always shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve. Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Film Critic, back with another episode of the Curvy Film Critic with Carla Renata. What we do here is we talk about movies, and I talk to people above and below the line in the film industry. I didn't do a whole lot, and I usually talk about what I did the week before. I didn't do a whole lot the week before because your girl is tired. It's the holiday season, and, it's a lot going on. But what I will tell you is, my Christmas movie is now playing on HBO Max, The Christmas Showdown, with these two lovely young ladies, Corbin Reed and Amber Stevens West. And here is a little sneak peek of what my character looks like on the show. Yay! And for this episode, we're going to talk about the artist again, because this time we've got the cast member Patti LuPone and Katherine McPhee joining me, along with the creator of The Artist, which is streaming on the network for free. The network for free. They'll be joining me to talk about The Artist. And then I also have Gennifer Goodwin from Zootopia 2, who plays Judy Hopps, the little rabbit there on your right. And of course, we'll get into an interview of Avatar 3, the SpongeBob movie, and Song Sung Blue. But before I get into that, I just want to come back on camera and say, you know what? This is holiday season. And so I found out unceremoniously that one of our favorite holiday movies is celebrating a really important anniversary. Home Alone. Y'all, this movie right here is celebrating a 35-year anniversary. It was directed by Christopher Columbus. It stars Macaulay Culkin, who's shown there, Oscar winner Kieran Culkin, who's his cousin, Joe Pesci, and Daniel Stern, who are in that picture, John Hurd, and Catherine O'Hara. If you have never seen Home Alone, it deals with this little bratty kid named Kevin McAllister who acts out the night before a family trip to Paris. His mother makes him sleep in the attic, and after the McAllisters mistakenly leave the airport without Kevin, he awakens to an empty house, assumes that he has his wish to have no family come true, but his excitement sours when he realizes the two con men, Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, plan to rob the house. Baby, I hollered out loud when I realized this was the 35th anniversary of Home Alone. I love that movie. Look, you are the notorious Scrooge if you don't like Home Alone. I'm just saying that movie is. Let's see, move over here this way. There we go. That movie is the best movie ever. I love me some Home Alone. Insti-Who, again, it is celebrating its 35th anniversary. So get your Christmas cheer on, honey, and check out some Home Alone. It is streaming on Disney Plus if you haven't seen it. And one more time, stream the Christmas Showdown on HBO Max. Hey, 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 and ho, 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 ho. All right, let's get into the first review of the day, and then we'll do these interviews. So the SpongeBob movie is in theaters right now. It's so cute, you guys. It's based on the Nickelodeon TV series that still is on the air, I believe. This film is directed by Derek Dryman. It's got a star-studded cast that features Mark Hamill, Ice Spice, Tom Kenny, who does the voice of SpongeBob, Regina Hall, who does the voice of Bob. And this is what the premise is. So, let me see, I'll come back. So SpongeBob, hoping to prove his bravery to Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob follows a mysterious swashbuckling ghost pirate known as the Flying Dutchman on a seafaring adventure that takes him to the deepest depths of the ocean. I really love this movie, and I say this all the time because a lot of adults, they critique animated films and they all salty and they never have anything nice to say, but I love animated films, so I always have something nice to say. The only thing I will say about SpongeBob is when they infiltrate the live action part, I wasn't real crazy about that. I would have preferred that they left it as a cartoon. We don't need a live action situation for SpongeBob. But other than that, it was really cool. And the lesson here is to stay true to who you are, and life will reward you handsomely. Because SpongeBob is trying to, prove himself to somebody because he thinks he's not enough. You're always enough. Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not enough. You are always enough. And that is the lesson with SpongeBob the movie. Song Sung Blue is coming to theaters on Christmas Day. It stars Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman. It is directed by Craig Brewer, who ironically is the same dude who directed Hustle and Flow, right? He directed Hustle. Let me tell you what Hustle and Flow is. And I'm going to talk about Hustle and Flow a little later too, because they're also celebrating an anniversary. You remember this movie with Terrence Howard, Taraji P. Henson, Paula J. Parker, and Taryn Manning. I'll get into that anniversary in a minute. But for right now, we're going to talk about Hustle and Flow. So these two people right here are the real Hustle and Flow. They called themselves Thunder and Lightning, and they had a Neil Diamond tribute band. So this is the deal. So in every city, there's always some musicians that, are playing in the city, right? There's always some musician in every city. There is I call them bar heroes. So the unsung voices who never get their shot. And they sing in dive bars, they sing in comedy fairs, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, you get the idea. So when the night is over, they empty the tip jar, they go home, pack up their gear, and oftentimes to like no applause. Not like the applause that they get on their gig. They live paycheck to paycheck, oftentimes with no insurance and no retirement plan. Think about that. These people are doing it for the love of the art. They have no insurance and no retirement plan. So this Song Sung movie in 2025 is based off of a Greg Coe documentary, which is streaming on Netflix. He did a documentary back in 2009 about this Milwaukee duo who formed a Neil Diamond tribute band, and they called themselves Thunder and Lightning. Baby, and I talked about this during the AFI festival, and I said this then, and I'll say it again now. If Bad Luck had a face, they would be it. Because, honey, the woman gets hit by a car in front of her house once. She ends up having to have her leg amputated. I mean, anything that could go wrong for this family, it went wrong. And then just when things began to turn around and their lives were about to take a turn for the better, tragedy strikes. What I will say about this movie, though, is that Craig Brewer does an excellent job of capturing the essence of this people's story. Let me show you that picture again. This vest that Mike is wearing in this picture, um, his wife gave that to Hugh Jackman, and as they've been walking around, as they have been touring around the country doing press tours for the film, he's been wearing this vest and he's been singing with Mike's wife, who's also pictured in this photograph, but they are played on screen by Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. And when I tell you Kate Hudson is doing the daggone thing, Kate Hudson is fantastic. And Hugh Jackman is exactly what you would expect Hugh Jackman to be, nothing short of fabulous. Ella Anderson, who plays their daughter, is really wonderful, and she steals every scene that she is in. You guys, if you want to go see a feel, I know I made it sound like it's a horrible movie in terms of energy, but it's really a feel good movie, and it's a movie about overcoming obstacles in the most ridiculous way possible. But when you overcome those obstacles, you have a tendency to appreciate your life and what life has to offer you even more so. So again, the movie's called Song Sung Blue. It is in theaters on Christmas Day and directed by Craig Brewer. Let's get into another anniversary before I get into these interviews. So since I just talked about Craig Brewer, let's talk about Hustle and Flow. Hustle and Flow was directed by Craig Brewer and it was produced by John Singleton. It is celebrating 20 years this year, right? It won the Oscar for Best Original Song. Y'all know that song. It's hard out here for a pimp. Uh, whatever that song is, they won the Oscar. And a baby, when I tell come back, When I tell you, when that is hard out here for a pimp, when that song won the Oscar, folk gagged because we were like, did that really win Best Original Song? Okay, good for them, but all right, what's happening? All right. So it wins Best Original Song, and this is the premise. If you have never seen Hustle and Flow, I'm gonna tell you what it's about because you're gonna gag. So DJ, who's played by Terrence Howard, he's a pimp and he's living day to day on the tough streets of Memphis, Tennessee. He's pushing 40. He's tired of the life he's living and dreams of something greater. When he meets up with an old friend who is now in the recording industry, played by Anthony Anderson, he's inspired to turn his life around and uses his criminal life as inspiration to create rap music. When he hears that a rap superstar is coming to town, DJ works a hustle to gain the rapper's attention and hopefully get signed by a label, and then shenanigans ensue. What I didn't know about this film before is that it's primarily based on Craig Brewer's own struggles and experiences in Memphis, mirroring his real life efforts to make his first film, The Poor and Hungry, with his wife who worked in a strip club to make ends meet. That's bananas. Didn't know that. Found it out when I was researching it. Not only does it draw on Brewer's personal life, including his financial hardship and his wife working in the sex industry for income, but his father's advice to embrace low budget filmmaking, transforming these real life struggles into the story of a pimp chasing his dream to become a rapper. Baby, I remember Hustle and Flow was the thing back in the day. It played Sundance. It was a really big deal, but I was all about it. So there's that. Let's get into the first interview and then we'll eventually get into Avatar, right? Okay, let's get into that. So the first interview that I have is from this show called The Artist. I've talked about it a lot in the last couple of months. It is on this network called The Network. Let me put the banner up for the network. It's the network dot stream, the network dot stream, and it is free. So if you go to that, if you go on your computer and you link to that, you will be able to watch this series for free. It is a series that takes place in the Gilded Age. It's fabulous. I've talked about it a lot. But before I go into this interview, the Lawrence Report, you like, okay, Carla in a movie? Yes, boo. Carla is in a movie. Who knew? It's a holiday movie, but she in one. She up there. Um, and just realized those are actresses from Run the World on Stars. Yes, Corbin and Amber were on Run the World on Stars, and that's how they met, and they are best friends in real life as well as in this Christmas movie. And thank you, Sab doll. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the flowers. Appreciate you. All right, so let's get into this interview with Patti LuPone. First of all, let me just come back on camera for a split second and just say this. So the artist, the show that I'm about to talk about, I interviewed Patti LuPone and Katherine McPhee. Katherine McPhee, if you don't know, was under a rock somewhere. Katherine McPhee was on American Idol and was like the runner up on American Idol. She was judged that year by David Foster, who was so pissy that she didn't win. And their camaraderie as artists and friends eventually flourished into a relationship. And now she is married to David Foster. You will see David Foster in this interview, and the way he shows up is hilarious. Patti LuPone is hilarious too. She had this whole thing where I say y'all all the time because I'm from the Midwest and everybody always says y'all, right? She was all up my butt about saying y'all. I'm like, girl, stop. I lived in New York for over 20 years, and if you listen to me talk, you'll hear more of a New York accent than you will hear a country accent. So, girl, bye. Um, like really, but anyway, take a look and a listen. I just went on a whole tangent by myself. Whatever. So take a look and a listen to this interview with Patti LuPone, Aaron Rappaport, and Katherine McPhee as we talk about the artist. When I found out, when I did a little research into Nora, I found out she was from Joliet, Illinois, which is not too far away from where I'm from in Missouri.
Oh,
And that she,
cool.
and that she introduced George M. Cohan's over there and was credited with writing that song "Shine on Harvest Moon." Was there,
Yeah.
and that surprised me. Was there anything that surprised you as you were delving into her life?
Well, it's funny because that's like the famous song that she was known for. And when I was received the scenes that I was going to be in, because I didn't get like scripts. I don't know what the story. I didn't know what the story was going into this whole thing.
Right.
They were really kind of secretive about like what happens.
Right.
I showed it to my husband, and he's like, "Yeah, you know that song, the Moon song, whatever." I was like, I've never heard this song, but so I wasn't actually familiar with the song. He's like, "How do you not know that song?" I'm like, "I don't know. It was in the 1800s, like maybe
That part right there.
so long ago." I mean, we have a big age difference, but he doesn't go back that far. Let's just be
Oh
honest.
yeah. I mean, I know who David is, honey.
Um,
You in the middle of the race?
yes,
Is David standing there?
yeah, he just interrupted my hello.
Sorry,
We were just talking about you, and you
Right.
interrupted our
Hey,
interview.
David.
Want to come in?
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm all right, thanks.
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah. All right,
He
carry
just
on.
interrupted me to see if we want to go visit the neighbors right now. I'm like, no, I don't.
It's quite all right, my dear.
Hey, what was the name of the song again?
Shine
Sunshine,
on Harvest Moon.
Shine on Harvest Moon.
Shine on Harvest Moon.
Yeah. So he knew it, but he's like, you know that song? I was like, no, I don't know that song. But actually, just a little background of how I ended up on this show was just I'm dear friends with the lead producer, Hilary Shore, who is a very strong woman. And I've been friends with her since as long as you've known me on television. But we met when I came off of American Idol. And so she's the lead producer on this show. And I've met the director Arm from her years ago. So they said, like, we're going to write you into this thing. Like, we don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to write you into it. And I was like, okay. The level of really strong women in this storytelling told from the writer is a man. I know now that I've been a part of it, I really want to ask Aram, like, where was your inspiration? Where did this come from? Like, to tell.
Well, I'm gonna ask him that for you because I'm talking to him right
Okay.
after I finish with you. So I will
cool.
ask him that question.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you on that.
Thank you. I'll search for your interview.
I'll DM you, girl, and let you know what you said. Arm,
Yes.
Katherine asked me to ask you this. She wants to know what was the inspiration for the artist.
Catherine McPhee?
Catherine McPhee. I told her I
Okay.
was going to ask you, and she said she's going to look for it on the video. So I'm asking.
She can ask me herself, I guess. But
She could, but she let me have the honors.
yeah, Carla. I was like, Carla, you're prolific. If that came through you, Kat was like, you're the one that's going to ask that question for him. What was the inspiration for the artist? So during the writer's strike and the SAG strike, I came up with the idea to somehow sort of like highlight the inequities between these artists that would do anything for their art, really. Like as actors or writers, or creators, poets, whatever. You don't care about the money. You have to do it, to survive. And then that juxtaposed these, overlords of the studios who had leveraged their companies to 50 billion, 60 billion in debt. So they weren't really rich. I mean, their companies are not profitable. They're not really business model. They're not geniuses by any means. They know how to work the system. And they still felt like they had control over these artists, who inherently had the talent, And so I thought it would be really interesting to set something like that in the Gilded Age, where a robber baron had gone broke recently and was in denial and didn't really have any money, but still felt like because of his money, he had more worth than anyone else. And so that was sort of the impetus for, crafting a world where, we would bring in these famous artists and,
Okay.
write cool pieces for Patti.
All right, Catherine McPhee, you got your answer. Now,
There you go, Kat.
Patti.
Thank you, Kat. And by the way, Kat, thank you for coming and playing. You were brilliant.
Now, Miss Patti, I feel like Rosie's not too far removed from you, but what I want to ask you about playing that role is that don't you think it's so sad that the way in which women are regarded in our society right now is trickling back to the 18th century a little bit? If you had a brain or the chutzpah to be considered a threat or to speak up, if you were a woman then, it was a problem, and if you're a woman now, it's a problem, don't you think?
Has anything changed?
Not really.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. pathetic. It's so pathetic. And you know, I say, back in the Minoan era, the women were goddesses. The women ruled the world. What happened? When did we give up the stage? I don't know, and I really don't know what we're going to do, because it's just fucking cruel, and it's really cruel.
Can I just tell you that in the trailer, when you are clowning Katherine and you say, "Now that's a diaphragm," I hollered out loud. I just have to tell you, I hollered out loud because I'm like, okay, Rosie and Patti are one and the same. Got it. So let me. Are you more of a whodunit kind of person when you're watching projects, or are you more of a true crime kind of person first?
I'm a whodunit.
Yeah.
Husband is a true crime. I'm thinking, he watches all of these cold case files. I'm going, are you just looking for another way to murder me? Why do you watch these things? He watches in the shower. There's the computer. He's watching Hallie. Oh, and that guy was dead. And I couldn't fucking believe it. Anyway, that's
Yeah,
what
I'm more of a true crime girl. What are you?
No, I'm a whodunit for sure. I'm way too neurotic. I'll watch true crime and think like someone's gonna frame me, and I'm, like, I don't know. I was talking to Mandy about this on set. We're both neurotic, and it's like I can't. Everyone's gonna misinterpret everything, and it's all. So there's no way I can do the true stuff.
What is it about the 18th century, Patti, do you think makes us so intrigued about that time?
For me, the Gilded Age, I don't know. I'm a New Yorker. I'm on the West Side. I walked home last night after a play with a friend of mine, and he said, "Oh yes, on this street, these are all Beaux-Art." And I'm going, when was Beaux-Art? Beaux-Art was Gilded Age. And I'm looking at the facades of these buildings, and he said these were single-family houses. I'm going, fuck, that's amazing. Who lived here? How much money did they have? What did they do to create this masterpiece, which is now apartments, and this beauty on this block? There's something missing in our society now that does not fill that need for beauty, for I guess, phenomenal creativity. When you look at Radio City Musical and you think that the only reason it's standing is because the Rockettes wouldn't have a home, as opposed to it is a testament to Art Deco architecture. I mean, it's shocking that we don't have any respect for that. It blows my mind. I think maybe we're looking back to find beauty.
Yeah, to your point, there's architecture like that all over the country. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and in Missouri, we have buildings like that. My family owned one of them that is now a historical monument. So I get what you mean when you say that. Before I go, let me just tell you, I want to applaud you for starting an independent network and having a project like this that employs and implores so many of our high regarded Broadway talent. I can't thank you enough. I really enjoyed what I did get an opportunity to see in the first
Carla, thank you.
And I just want to let you know that it's not lost on me that you are doing that, and I appreciate it, and I'm sure that others, when they get the opportunity to watch it, will appreciate it too. And Mandy made a good point of making sure that it's free and that people don't have to pay a subscription. But I just wanted to tell you that I wanted you to know that all of your cast has rallied around you to promote your project and your show and your network. So thank you both for your time today. I appreciate you.
No, thank you, Carla. And thanks for taking the time to watch it. And, I know that there's a lot going on, so we really appreciate it, truly. More than anything, this is how we're getting the word out. So thank you.
Listen, I come from the Broadway community. Anybody that's got Patti and Mandy and Katherine and all the others, Janet, I'm there. I'm there for all of that, and I will support it every single time.
Oh, thank you so much, Carla.
Yes, absolutely. Have a great one, y'all.
You too.
Bye,
Bye.
Carla.
Bye. Well, y'all know how I feel about live theater. I talk about it all the time. It's no secret that I'm a Broadway baby and that Broadway is near and dear to my heart. If you have not seen my interviews with Mandy Patinkin or Janet McPhee, you can go to the YouTube channel and check those out, as they are uploaded and ready for you to watch there. They are also featured in The Artist. And again, The Artist can be seen at thenetwork.stream. the network.stream. Y'all got the next 2 weeks off to do nothing. You can check out The Artist. It's free. You don't have to pay a fee to watch it. You don't have to pay anything. It's absolutely free. And this takes place in the Gilded Age. I promise you, you will love, love, love this series. I loved it. And I've only seen 3 episodes of it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it, because baby, I need to see the ones with Patti LuPone in them, because she cutting up in the trailer, so you know she she cutting up in the trailer, so you know she cutting up on the show. All right, let's talk about another film anniversary before we get into my interview with Miss Gennifer Goodwin and these reviews on Avatar. I found out something very interesting. So everybody knows that film Psycho, right? With Anthony Perkins and Janet Leigh. We all know this film, right? There were people that my mother didn't take a shower for years. As a matter of fact, my mother still doesn't take a shower after watching this movie. And it's been years. My mother is in her 80s. She refuses to take a shower after watching this movie. But what I didn't know about Psycho is that I did know it was directed by Alfred Hitchcock, but it's celebrating a 65-year anniversary this year, and that is loosely based on the real life case of serial killer Ed Gein, who is pictured there to the right. His crimes inspired author Robert Bloch to write the novel the film is based on. So Robert Bloch wrote Psycho, and they adapted Psycho into a film that starred Janet Leigh and Anthony Perkins, who's pictured there on your left, sharing similarities like an obsession with his deceased mother, but with key fictional differences. And the really odd thing about this is that right now, streaming on Netflix, I think it's Netflix, is a TV series called Monster, the Ed Gein Story. And Charlie Hunnam is playing Ed Gein, and he is nominated for a Critics' Choice for his performance in that. So I just find it really odd that Psycho is celebrating 65 years, is loosely based on Ed Gein, and we have this Ed Gein story on streaming on right now on TV. So there's that. Let's get into this interview with Gennifer Goodwin. So Gennifer Goodwin plays Judy Hopps, the little rabbit to the right, in Zootopia 2. Zootopia 2 is also nominated for a Critics' Choice nomination. And Judy Hopps has been played by Gennifer Goodwin since day one. She did it in the first one. She did it in the second one. FYI, but not really. She actually had auditioned for Frozen. That didn't go well for her. And that audition led to her ultimately getting offered to play Judy Hopps in Zootopia 2. She also played Snow White and Mary on Once Upon a Time, one of my favorite shows. So without further ado, let's get into this interview with Miss Gennifer Goodwin, aka Judy Hopps from Zootopia 2. Sure, I'm Carla Renata, the Curvy Film Critic. Hi, Gennifer.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you.
Likewise.
Girl, I loved you in this, but I really loved you in Once Upon a Time. I never missed the episode of that. Never, ever, ever, ever,
That's
ever.
amazing. Thank you.
Yes,
My
of
whole life
course.
was kind of built around that show.
Yes, I loved you in that show. I'm a Disney head, so there's that. But
Same.
I know, girl. I'm so excited. I'm like 2 Disney heads on the same camera. I love it. So, I remember you from that, and I remember that you found real love in real life on Once. Do you think that Judy's ever gonna find her happily ever after?
I like Everly after.
Everly after.
Everly after. I mean, I so hope so. She definitely is someone who is made better by others and needs those partnerships. And so I certainly hope so, but I have no idea in what form that love will take. Because right now I do feel like Nick's her soulmate, her like best friend soulmate. But yeah, maybe that's what a potential third could explore.
So I love that Judy has this energy that she makes you believe that you can be anything that you want to be, and she has the strength and the goods to make you believe that she can do anything as well. How has Judy made you a better Gennifer?
Oh my gosh, in so many ways, because of, as you're saying, she has so much integrity. I feel like she's always putting the world before herself. I do think like sometimes she clearly needs to take a page out of Nick's book and like put the mask on herself before she puts the mask on others, because like she's no help to anybody if she's always like like being like, I don't know, hoodwinked and knocked out. And I mean the stakes in number 2 are clearly very high as far as that goes. Like it almost kills her. But I do feel like I'm always aspiring to be more like her. I think she's really brave. I also frankly wish I was as driven as she is. Like I want to stay home and watch Disney movies. And I'm like, I should probably get out of my house sometimes. I mean, that's the truth.
That is hilarious. Speaking of which, what is your favorite thing about going to the zoo now that you're a mom?
Oh my gosh, going to the zoo.
Mhm.
Well, I feel like in general, the way that I think about animals is so different because of having, kids, because the way that they look at them, they don't understand I don't know, like the laws of the universe yet. My kids, they're figuring all of that out. For them, anything goes. And like animals they infuse animals with human qualities, just like our movies do. And it is a really magical and like, I don't know, like mind-opening experience to be with my kids. Yeah, when going through that, because they're like to them, those animals are, may as well be fellow humans. Empathy opens up.
What's their favorite animal that they like to visit?
Changes. I mean, I would say they were real, like one loved tigers and one loved lions for like ever, which made gift giving really easy. And I feel like, thank goodness now there's like capybara stuff, because I didn't even know what a capybara was. They were all things capybara. How did this start? I don't know. How did kids find out about these things when we don't teach them? I don't know. Capybara, all things all the time.
Can you explain to me what that is? Because I have no clue. I don't have kids.
I can't even tell you what family it's in. It might be a giant rodent. It may not be. It could be, what's a marsupial? I don't remember what a marsupial is. It might be a marsupial. That feels like a word associated with it, but it is. I mean, by the way, maybe someone at Disney can like chime in here and tell us what a capybara is. I don't know.
That is hilarious. Oh my God, you made me laugh so hard. My eyes are watering. But thank you so much. That's my time, Gennifer. Thank you for making time for me today. I really do appreciate you and love
It's
you
so
in this
nice
role
to
so
meet you.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, bye. Can I just say, I just want to say 2 things. One, thank you, Gennifer Goodwin, because when she went on that tangent about Happy Bar, that made me laugh out loud. I have since found out what it is, but I'll let y'all look that up. I'm not going to tell you everything. Wink, wink. Anywho, and I also love how whenever I'm doing these interviews, somebody is always walking in and surprising. I love that when I did the interview with Katherine McPhee, how her husband, David Foster, just kind of randomly came into the shot. It made me laugh out loud. Just like a few months ago when I interviewed Ilfanesh for Highest to Lowest, and Denzel Washington walked in the shot. I'm like, I love that y'all feel so comfortable just walking in the middle of my interviews, but it's all good in the hood. Anywho, let's get into another. Let's see what. Oh, I have this one that I want to talk about. Another one before I get into Avatar. So this movie right here. This woman right here, Louise Fletcher, she played Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, who is also celebrating a 50-year anniversary. It was directed by Milos Forman. It starred Jack Nicholson as McMurphy. Louise Fletcher was in this movie. Danny DeVito was in this movie. Christopher Lloyd was in this movie. Now, Nurse Ratched spurned a whole new series on Netflix of the same name, which starred Sarah Paulson, and I was there for all of it. I loved that. But this is Jack Nicholson as McMurphy. Now, when McMurphy gets transferred for an evaluation for a prison farm to a mental institution, he assumes it's going to be less restrictive, and that this nurse who runs the psychiatric ward he's going to be able to control her, but she's keeping her patients cowed through abuse, medication. She runs the ward with an iron fist, and she also encourages sessions of electroconvulsive therapy. The battle of wills between McMurphy and her soon affects all of the ward patients. When I tell you, I was a kid when my mother took me to the theater to see this movie. I had no business going to the movie seeing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But there I was with my mama. And when I tell you, Jack Nicholson did the damn thing. He won the Oscar for this performance, and deservedly so. He was bananas. But if you have not seen, I'm giving you these anniversaries now toward the end of the year so that you guys can have some things to watch and check out during the holiday season, right? So One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is celebrating a 50-year anniversary. You might want to check it out. So let me just recap the films that I've talked about thus far. Home Alone is streaming on Disney Plus. You want to check that out. Psycho is also probably streaming on Disney. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Hustle and Flow, The Artist, is streaming on the network.stream with the fabulous Patti LuPone and Katherine McPhee. You don't want to miss that. And then you don't also want to miss the SpongeBob movie, Song Sung Blue. And my last anniversary that I'm going to talk about is everybody's favorite. What? Back to the frickin' Future. Back to the Future, y'all, is celebrating another anniversary. It is celebrating a 45-year anniversary. It has been 45 years since this movie came out. Can you believe that? It was directed by Robert Zemeckis. It stars Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, who are pictured in this photograph, also starring Leah Thompson and Crispin Glover. It's a 1980 sci-fi classic about a small town in California where Marty McFly lives. He's thrown back in time into the 50s when an experiment by his eccentric scientist friend, Doc Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd, goes crazy. And they go back in time in a DeLorean car. When I tell you, this film was like, not only was it a sci-fi classic, but it is a pop culture staple, and it is celebrating 45 years this year. Please do yourselves a favor and catch you some Back to the Future if you have an opportunity. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about this Avatar movie. So Avatar has had 3 different iterations. It has had the original Avatar, then Avatar Way of the Water, which came out a couple of years ago, I believe. I don't even remember. It's been a minute. And now we got Avatar Fire and Ash, which is in theaters right now. Baby, the running time on this bad boy is 3 hours and 17 minutes. It's written and directed by James Cameron. And this time we're dealing with the conflict on Pandora as it escalates as Jake and Neytiri's family encounters a new aggressive Na'vi tribe, which you see pictured in that photograph. Let me tell you something about this. The fact that it's 3 hours and 17 minutes, I'm going to be honest, it sounds very daunting when you hear those numbers, but when I watched the film in real time, it didn't feel like it was 3 hours and 17 minutes. I probably started to feel it in my body about midway through because I started to shift in my seat a little bit, but it didn't take away from the fact that the film is enjoyable. Do we need another Avatar? Probably not, but fans of the franchise love this film. And I personally love my dude, the captain, who's played by Stephen Lang. He is the bomb. His character, he is so funny because what he looks like in real life is very similar to what his character looks like in the Avatar film. And Una Chaplin is doing a fantabulous job of playing his little romantic interest, I think it's Varang. She's kind of fantabulous. She's kind of mean and evil and nasty. She's the one that is in that picture I showed you. But she's kind of fantabulous. And I love the fact that they gave him like a little romantic thing. It made him a little softer in some spots. And we've always seen him be, harsh, mean. But in this iteration, he's a little softer. He's a little more conscious of his actions and his words, which I kind of dug that. Of course, Oscar winner Zoe Saldana is reprising her role of Neytiri. Sam Worthington is back as Jake Sully. It does drag a little bit in the middle. There's this part in the middle where some things happen. I don't want to ruin it for y'all, but you've probably already seen it. But there's some things that happen in the middle where somebody is being brought back to life. And that little segment takes 5,000 years. I'm like, y'all can speed that along. It don't need to be that long. Like, zap, do the things and zap, my boy back to life, but like really, it took way too long. The film is gorgeous to look at. It's a really gorgeous film. Um, it has many lifestyle lessons along the way. And like I said, fans of the franchise will be very, very satisfied. Those stepping into the franchise for the first time, you might want to see those first two before you get into this third one, because what's happening in the third one may not make sense. If you haven't seen Way of the Water and the original Avatar, you might be like, I don't know. But personally, my personal favorite in the franchise is Way of the Water. I kind of dug Way of the Water a lot. What are y'all saying to me? Yes, child. When I tell you it's 3 hours and 17 minutes, I watched that movie and I was there for all 3 hours and 17 minutes of it. And it is 3 hours and 17 minutes long. And I was like, James Cameron, you you need to be kicked in your ass for that. I was, 3 hours and 17 minutes. Come on now. Come on. What do you want to bring my listen? I mean, you might want to hop them up on some candy. You can take your nieces, but you might have to hop them up on some candy because I'm an adult and I had a hard time sitting through it for 3 hours and 17 minutes. And not because it was bad, just because it was long. Like, what happened to, there's a girlfriend of mine named Gray Drake, and she's always like, what happened to a tight 90? I'm like, can we just have a tight 90? Can we have a tight 90? Like a 90-minute movie where you can like go have a dinner, go watch the movie, even have a little snack afterwards, and it all totals like a little over 3.5 hours. I'm gonna need folk to stop making these 3 hour long movies. Like, can we just have a tight 90? Just saying. Just saying. But that's all I have to say about Pandora and Avatar Fire and Ash. I do love the whole fire and ash theme that happens within this film. We dealt with the water the last time. Now we deal with the fire and the ash. The way they leave it at the end of the movie is inevitable that there's going to be an Avatar 4. Not sure how many more years we're going to have to wait for that one, or if they've already filmed it and they just haven't said anything. We don't know. You said they barely survived Wicked. That made me laugh out loud. Listen, I'm a Wicked head, so I wouldn't care if Wicked was 10 hours long. I'm gonna sit there because there's music involved, and I'm a Broadway person, and there's a bunch of Broadway people in Wicked, so I would have sat there for 10 hours to watch Wicked. But watching blue people for 3 hours and 17 minutes, I'm saying you might want to get them some candy. You might want to get them some candy. Just saying, you might want to make that happen right there. All right, let me just recap what we talked about today and let you know what's going to be happening next week. Again, the Christmas Showdown, my Christmas movie with Corbin Reed and Amber Stevens-West from Run the World, which was on Stars, is streaming on HBO Max, co-starring yours truly as Corbin's mom. The Artist is streaming on the network.stream. The network.stream. It stars Mandy Patinkin, Hank Azaria, Patti LuPone, Janet McTeer, Katherine McPhee, Danny Houston, and so Zachary Quinto is in this. I mean, it is a who's who of Broadway talent that is in this show. You don't want to miss it. It is called The Artist. If you have not seen my interview with Janet McTeer and Mandy Patinkin, please hop over to the YouTube channel and check it out. Again, Katherine McPhee is in that, and the illustrious Patti LuPone. If you have not seen Zootopia 2 yet, you might want to go see that, Sav. Your nieces will definitely sit through that, and it's a lot of fun. Zootopia 2 is in theaters right now. Check out the interview with Gennifer Goodwin that I did if you missed it. Hustle and Flow is streaming somewhere. It is directed by Craig Brewer, as well as Song Sung Blue is directed by Craig Brewer. It is in theaters, and it is based on this duo who had a Neil Diamond tribute band called Thunder and Lightning. If you have not seen Psycho ever in your life, know that Psycho is loosely based on Ed Gein, the serial killer, played fantabulously by Tony Perkins. That is streaming somewhere, I'm sure, where you all can watch it. Of course, the Christmas staple, Home Alone. You definitely want to check out Home Alone. It's celebrating an anniversary this year as well. So is Back to the Future. All of my favorite old school movies are all streaming and celebrating anniversaries this year, as well as One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, starring Jack Nicholson and Louise Fletcher. You might also want to check out the series Ratchet, which is streaming on Netflix, that starred Sarah Paulson. Of course, the SpongeBob movie is in theaters. It's based on the Nickelodeon TV series, which is a lot of fun. Barb is being voiced by Regina Hall, and she is doing a fantabulous job. You will love that. And of course, Avatar Fire and Ash is in theaters right now. I so appreciate y'all popping through and saying hello to a sister and talking to me while I'm doing this. It makes it go so much faster and it makes it so much more fun. If you are on YouTube, give me a big thumbs up to let me know you were here. Click that bell for notifications so that you know when I'm going live, when I've uploaded stuff, and all the things. And so when I come back next week, I'm going to do a roundup of what my favorite films were for 2025, because when I come back next week, it will be we'll be going into New Year's Eve. So on 12/30, I'll come back on 12/30, December 30th, and I'll do a year-end roundup, and I'll do a preview for what's coming up in 2026, because wink, wink, I already know. And I'll be coming back on January 11th. So the dates you need to look out for are December 30th. I'm going to do a roundup, do a preview of what's to come for the Curvy Critic in 2026, and remind you that once the holidays are over, I will not be coming back until January 11th, which will be after the Critics' Choice Awards and the Golden Globes. So I'll probably have somebody on so that we can talk about the awards, because then we'll be a month out from the Oscars, and we'll have a better idea of how the race is shaping up. All right. So thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful and so honored that you all come in real time to see it. Good to rewatch. Yes, it's always good to rewatch the classics, because they're what? Classics. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate you. And you enjoy your holiday too. It is going to be stress-free, because I'm going to be under the covers with a remote, watching TV and eating some snacks, because I'm what? The Curvy Critic. Just saying. All right, y'all. Love, peace, and hair grease until the next time. And deuces. See you soon. Bye. I'm crazy. What is wrong with me? I have lost my ever-loving mind. I really have. I don't know what I'm thinking when I say goodbye, but okay. Bye.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease.
Love, peace, and